All right, welcome to a new episode of Marketplaces Growth, the podcast. Today I'm joined by Kevin Flurschütz from Germany, KFL Consulting, an agency that specializes in marketplaces. And before he introduces himself, I'll introduce the topic. We're discussing the illustrious A9 algorithm, familiar to everyone who's dealt with Amazon. It's the algorithm that we all try to optimize for, and Kevin knows it quite well. Yeah, Kevin, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Lucas, for being here and for the invitation. So, as you said, I'm Kevin, founder of KFL Consulting. We are an AI-first marketplace agency based in Germany, working mostly with D2C brands in Europe. And the way we are different from the most agencies, we do like the boring stuff. So we build the infrastructure underneath, doing strategy and stuff like that, organic visibility, and for sure AI-driven process design. And I've been in the space for about 8 years now. Yeah.
Nice. So the first thing that stands out to me, you mentioned AI first agency.
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit more about that? What does that mean?
Yeah, of course. So we just scale on agents in this term. So we have the vision that in the next 3 to 4 years, everything should be shipped into AI first with the right process, but especially with human in the loop. So this is like not the traditional way of like, you are leading an agency, but it's like the long-term goal that everything is going in this direction. And with the future visibility, I think it's the only direction, and you have to be part of this future.
Yeah, so you use a lot of AI to streamline basically the agency work as well as the actual marketplace work.
Yeah, for sure. So it depends on AI can do very, very, very many things, but you have to give the right context. And this is like the bottleneck for most of the players and ecom founders as well. So it's not about better copy, it's about better systems and fix your data and know your customer intent. And then AI can do the volume there.
Yeah, so in today's episode, we'll be talking about how you can use those tips and tricks, right? So how you can leverage AI to basically hack the A9 algorithm. And the A9 algorithm, I've been in the space also for quite some years. It's similar to the algorithm of Google, right? That everyone wants to fully grasp it and everyone claims to understand they know it, but it's always very, very tricky.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, you only learn by doing, right? By seeing and testing what works. So before we dive in, what's the last thing you ordered on the marketplace?
I think it was a neck pillow from Blackroll. Yeah. So I think better sleep is very important. That was my last order.
So a travel pillow.
Yeah, but also for at home. So I use it every day since then, and my hoop score says I sleep a little bit better.
Okay, so you're into the health score optimization as well.
Yeah, of course I have to when we are AI first.
Yeah. I get that completely. It's quite addicting.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So maybe first to you, what's the A9 algorithm? Did I explain it correctly? Is there anything I should explain about the A9 algorithm?
Yeah, I can also give like a short introduction to that. So in most cases, it's like a black box and not really Amazon give anything use about that. And in my opinion, it's not the A9, it's more the A10 algorithm because they ship many different things into the algorithm. So it's like the most for Amazon, it's the most important way that they give the right products to the right search intents of their customers. If they sell more, Amazon is happy and they will show the right products to the right customers. And it is like a correlation of many things. So it's all signal based and there is not the holy grail of one truth. You have to optimize this and then you will get this result. It's like a completely flywheel of performance factors and relevance factors, which are very important. And then the organic visibility is at a very good point, but then you need ads to push it through. So it's like more signals, and we can maybe go deeper into that correlation, but it's very good if you have like the knowledge about that. But the best results you will get with testing and not about thinking so long about how can I do that. Use the right tools and a good tech stack, then you will have everything. And I know this very good because I write my master thesis about the A9 algorithm. So I have all the scientific background, but if I go deeper into like 100 plus client projects, you will learn much more about how fast the transformation ships with Rufus, Alexa shopping, and voice shopping and stuff like that. So it's not that easy to be aware of shiny objects there. And yeah, that's like a short introduction. If you want, we can go deeper in like one hand of that and I can explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, so summarizing, it's the A9 algorithm decides what you as a consumer sees when you look for a product, when you type in text on Amazon, and it decides what you're seeing based on various things. So indeed, it's keywords, it's conversions, it's reviews, all those sort of things. So if you're a seller listening, you want to know, okay, so what should I be doing to make sure that my products are being seen, but they're also being bought, right? Because views do not equal conversions.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important to get there, to get those conversions?
So it totally depends on which category are you in, and totally depends on what are your market competitors, how did they perform at this point, and what keyword routes are they using it. And I am explaining it. Everything is based on routes in Amazon. So you have different angles. For example, like we have one in like the kitchen sector, and then we have like one route about kitchen knives. Then we have like an other keyword called it, and this broad keyword have like several long tail keywords there. And for the algorithm, if you use like more keyword routes in like you after your keyword deep dive, then you have like more opportunities to rank on some long tail organic keywords in this whole way and outperform your competitors in this case. So especially if you just focusing, hey, I have like one short tail keyword with 80K search volume, but you have like 30 competitors trying to rank on this keyword and the CPC is like €3, maybe focusing more on keywords with like fewer search volume, but a higher conversion rate and a higher search intent. So if you have more long tail keywords, the customer knows better what they want to sell. And then you have like fewer CPCs and more visibility to rank on those keywords. At the end, it is like a mix, but if you have problems and struggling, like ranking on high converting volume keywords, try it out with long tail keywords and data first. So if you're a seller and you just want to improve it, you need to have your data in place and completely clarity. What is your market share? What is your positioning? And what are your competitors doing? What is the search volume? And there are so many signals, mobile first listings and stuff like that, the pictures, the duration, if you have Prime and not. There are so many things on the checklist that I can't not say, so this is like the magic pill you have to take, and then you have like the fully bestseller listing there.
Yeah.
Maybe it works out in like 2017, but not in 2026.
Yeah, so you're mentioning quite a few things. I think the keyword route, right?
Yeah.
To start there. So as an example, you have kitchen knives, but if
Yeah.
you're selling a kitchen knife specifically for butter, then you're likely going to convert better at kitchen knives butter or butter kitchen knives, you name it.
Exactly.
So you're saying the search volume on those high tail keywords, which are quite generic. Lots of people start off generic when they're searching.
Yeah.
They're highly competitive, very expensive. So the CPC, the cost per click, is high. So starting off there could be quite expensive. And also maybe what I wanted to add on that, what I've seen with clients as well when I was still at the agency side, is it's if you build a good foundation on long tail keywords, so you're converting, you have consistent sales, you have reviews, maybe at some point it's worth trying high tail keywords again, because at some point you've built the reputation with Amazon, you're shown a lot more often, you're converting a lot better, your listing looks a lot more mature. So I fully agree with your take that you need to test these things, but also if something does not work now, don't discard it forever. Maybe at some point it will work again.
Yeah, totally.
And then you mentioned a few things, right? There's no magic pill. There's mobile listing reports is an interesting one. Where do you gather all this data?
So basically, you have like different opportunities for us as an AI first agency. We are doing a lot of with APIs and MCPs. So you have like your operating dashboard using, for example, Claude Code or other large language models that you can use. And then you make a connection to, for example, the data dive API. Then you can track and get all the keyword stuff. Then you're doing like connecting the SP API. Then you're getting like data from the product opportunity explorer on the one hand. On the other hand, you can also see, hey, maybe with the Amazon Ads API, you can get all your data there. And then you can also connect your Amazon Marketing Cloud. And the most powerful way in AI, for example, to getting faster decisions is pattern recognition. So if you put all this data in one single source of truth and getting your goal, and you are narrowing the right steps, you will get like a, with good context, a pretty good analysis of how should be the next step. And then this is like your step in human in the loop, that you take a look at this data without AI and teach your brain to think about what is my positioning, how can I improve that, and this is like one tech stack for me, and it have not be too complicated. You can also use like Claude Cowork and just download your Excels and data there and put it in one local drive and or a GitHub repository, and then you can work in Claude Code, and you have not to do it in Antiquarity or a VS Code. So you for every people based on his technology ability, you have different opportunities to leverage them.
So that's pretty interesting, because indeed, we've seen Amazon ads now being agentic ready, in the sense that it's you can link it. It has an MCP server, and you can link it and have things basically have Claude touch your ads, right? But you also mentioned the SP API, which is what we use at Channable to create listings for you on Amazon, to send products back and forth. So what you're essentially saying is you can now gather all that data, either automated via MCPs, APIs, or the old school way, downloading CSVs, Excel files, and uploading that. And then you basically work with Claude or another LLM to analyze all that data and find the patterns that you can use to optimize for.
Exactly.
Right? So that's pretty interesting. And that includes like these, I would call them like very specific metrics, like the mobile listings information. Is that all in there?
Yeah, you will get category insights with the SP API, and especially so many more data that will take too long to mention them all. There are many on the list. And especially if you do like getting the loop on the algorithm. So you have like on the one hand the performance factors. So these are like people are buying your product, and people are do not like to see many. You see many Chinese sellers putting like all keywords into the title and doing like keyword stuffing. That will not work anymore very good, because people buy your product, and maybe there are more signals like, oh, it's allergy friendly, or it's made in Germany, or other USPs that have maybe not that high search volume, but are pretty important for the customer decision at the end, that have to be convinced to buy your product. So these are the performance factor. It's like price, prime, reviews, and CTR, images, mobile first optimization in the first 80 bullets. The first 3 bullet points are also very important for mobile optimization. Like this is the one hand. On the other hand, you have to go like your keyword map and the deep dive into all the relevance factors. So if you have like the whole data information about that, then it's like a correlation of performance and relevance. And then this is like the human part. We have to decide how much we put like the keywords in which position in the title with the ranking factors. So most importantly, to give like a short guide, title is the most important ones. After that, attributes and backend keywords. Product description will be overridden with the A+ content. If you have like more keywords over, then you can put it also there. But mostly you have the most impact into the title. And this is very important. And then it's like signal based, and you have to do A/B tests, maybe to improve your conversion rate. And at the end, what we see with most of our clients, if you have more organic visibility with higher conversion rate and you spend the same, you have like more profit at the end with the leverage of more organic visibility, because at the end you have more profit if the people buys your product. And before of investing so much into ads, maybe maximize your foundation, then you have at the end more profit and at the end of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So that's we would always say that it has no use to do a viewing of your house if your house looks like shit, basically, right?
yeah yeah
It's just not a good sequence. So indeed, fix your listings first. You mentioned, I think, like if you're in the space for a while, you know that the title, bullet points, and the backend search terms on Amazon are indexed. So that means the algorithm actually uses those fields to gauge what kind of product you're selling based on the keywords in there. So they're vital. You previously talked about the keyword roots, right? And you have with Amazon, it always baffles me how many keywords get quite a lot of searches,
yeah
especially on Amazon Germany, Amazon UK, Amazon US. Would you go so let's say you're selling a butter knife, right? Would you go very wide? So also go into utensils, kitchen accessories, like very broad terms? Or would you say focus really on the keywords that matter most and are most relevant for your product?
So if it depends, if I'm a new seller or if I have like some repetition in the market. So if the best seller in this category having like 3K, 4.9 star reviews, it will be pretty hard to get into the market, to be honest. But if you have like there is some room for implementation, then I would say focusing firstly, have a look at your data and your opportunities of the keyword roots. After that, you can look about, okay, these are my most 3 to 5 main keywords. And then you have to take a look which competitors are ranking on those keywords. If there is a gap in the market, include the exact keyword long tail strictly into your listing and your title, because everyone has butter knife in the title. So everybody will do that if they sell this product, but nobody will have take a look butter knife for, I don't know, some people with maybe some problems with their hands, or they want a specific color, for example. So if there's like a red butter knife, there are maybe 3 to 4 people, and then you put this thing in the title. And I will not recommend doing like the completely changing the listing. So implementing 2 to 3 keywords into the title and then push these keywords with ads, especially to rank on those. And if you rank and you track it on the places 1 to 5, then you have like the maximum of the organic visibility, and then you can reduce your ad spend on those keywords because people are buying your product organically anyway. And then you
Yeah.
save profits at midterm. So this
Yeah.
would be my basic recommendation, but it depends also of the data and context here to get here. It's not that clear answer for every kind of project.
No, so it always depends on your data. There's not a one size fits all solution.
Yeah.
But you're saying also it is, for some categories, it's just quite hard to become a new player because there's just so many listings that have 5-star reviews that are very optimized on price. That's still also
Yeah.
a lot of times the case with Amazon. It's just a price focused platform. Do you think it even makes sense to invest in those kinds of categories?
To be honest, in those kind of categories, it will be very hard if you start by scratch. So if you want to sell butter knives, for example, or any other kinds which we have like thousands of competitors, I would not recommend to do this because I also think your margin will not be very high. And if you have not that margin to buy your ranking, which you have to if you want to go on Amazon. Amazon is a winner takes it all market. I would not recommend it on the one hand. On the other hand, if you have like many SKUs, so you have like thousands of SKUs, then I would recommend, hey, do the boring stuff, build the infrastructure and list all the products with like after the Pareto principle. So investing 20% of your time for 80% of the outcome, then go into it, but do not stress about marketing. Just list the products and you will get spillover effects for your web shop.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we would recommend as well. Of course, as sort of the middleware provider, as an integrator, it is easier to get to a sort of 80%, 100% completion rate for your catalog. And for the big retailers, we see that it can be, especially if you're selling on multiple marketplaces, there can always be a gap somewhere where you can sell the only proper butter knife for the occasion, right? Whether it's for specific hands or so. That's a good one. So you mentioned the loading all the data in, doing pattern recognition, and using that as sort of a guideline for where to start optimizing for. If you were to give one sort of starting point for a beginning seller that's selling on Amazon but wants to sort of apply this, what
Yeah.
would you say is the most important report to analyze, to test this out with?
So I would say the Search Query Performance Report gives you a very good starting point of how you can achieve better results. And anyway, your customers literally telling you what they wish the product did. So the highest converting USPs come from the pain points the category doesn't address yet. So you can scrape, for example, with Apify and other things, your own reviews from your competitors' reviews, and you can analyze the pain points, what they should wish, and then you can implement it in like USPs in your own listing for the start. And if you see a gap between high volume search intent keywords in your niche, especially for long tail keywords and not that good competition, this would be for me a very good signal. If I have enough margin to play with ads to push it in the honeymoon phase, it could be good to try it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so the search query report, that's available in your advertising console, right?
Yeah.
Under reports.
Yeah.
That gives you insight on what customers are searching for and where your ads are displayed.
Yeah.
And then you're saying download reviews, scrape them. There's free Google Chrome plugins as well that you can use to scrape reviews. I agree. Also very insightful if you're doing product development or D, right? If you want to find out what your butter knife needs to do to absolutely win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's clear advice. Then you mentioned briefly the honeymoon phase. I
Yeah.
think that's there's various ways you can name it. It's like the sort of, some people call it the first 7 days or the first month, and it's also very typical to the A9 or A10 algorithm. Can you explain a bit what that is?
Yeah, totally. So it's also kind of a black box there, but especially I would say the first 4 weeks to 6, 8 weeks, it's kind of a black box there. Amazon are want to see if your products fits right to your target audience. And what I do not recommend if you like launching a new product, and this is especially for launching a new product with a new ASIN and a new ERN. So at the beginning, I would prefer of doing the full context if optimizing your listing and then list it with the best context. If you just list it up with like a short title, not a brief review competition, and a short product description, it will not be, and you are losing potential on the honeymoon phase, because if you change the listing after that, like 1 week, the algorithm have to find new target audiences and will try out different angles, and maybe you had the right angle and then you are changing the listing and then you will lose visibility. So especially for starting, Amazon push your product in this kind of a phase, and we have to see this in like many kinds of product launches on Amazon, that you have way better results if you push it in the right way and make the boring stuff at the beginning.
Yeah, so you're saying first time right, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something that we're seeing at Channable a lot as well, because it is setting up an API and a marketplace like Amazon from scratch. It takes work. It takes a level of knowledge. You need to know, what are the requirements? Do I need to do specific things for these categories? So if you cut corners and you do it fast but not thorough, not good, you'll ruin your launch period. So you're saying, take the time to optimize your content, do a bit of analysis, optimize for your keywords, and then leave it with a correct listing so the algorithm can properly index it and show it to the right audience.
Yes.
So what I would like your opinion on as well is what I would often say to clients with big catalog.
Yeah.
Is I would say, maybe take your winners from your web shop or from another marketplace. Take, for example, 10 or 50, depending on your resources. Take a set of those good products so you can take the time to really optimize them for Amazon and start with those. And then once they're running, take your next set of products instead of just taking 1,000 SKUs and going to Amazon. What do you think about that?
So it's always better if a founder have also the mindset. It is not possible to do 5K SKUs at one time, and especially everybody who working with APIs and stuff like that. It is not the sexiest way, but it's very important that you do it probably good. And I am totally with you. So it depends on what is your target with Amazon. If it's your main channel, if you want to achieve new customers and bring them to your web shop, this depends on the strategy, but I'm totally with you doing like a good rollout, and instead of doing a full rollout without seeing if there is anything wrong. Because if at the end and a customer buys your product and maybe it doesn't fit his expectations, then you will send it back and then you will definitely lose money on that customer. And at the end, nobody is happy. It's a lose-lose situation.
Okay, nice. So we covered quite a few practical tips, right? So use the available data, combine it all into an LLM so you can do pattern recognition,
Yeah.
compare high tail versus long tail keywords and look for keyword roots. The one we just mentioned is start small but do it really good. First time right approach. Do you have, so we always ask guests for the golden nuggets, like what are practical tips that listeners can implement as well? What would be your golden nuggets to start winning on Amazon?
Yeah. So nugget number one for me is clean your master data before you touch AI. And this comes also along with Channable, and it's pretty important. Amazon is shifting more and more into AI, like voice shopping and stuff like that. And they will scrape and search with Rufus and stuff like that your listing. And AI doesn't fix bad processes, it makes bad processes bad faster. So garbage in, garbage out, but at 10 times the speed. And most brands deploy AI at top of inconsistent data and wonder why nothing improves. And for me, it's very important that you have to do the boring stuff, especially for high volume catalogs. If you have many SKUs, and if you have wrong product data inside of it, it will harm your company goals. And also, it's not the purpose for the customers if they send their products back. So very important, and very important to do like an extra loop there. With bad data, there is only wrong decisions to make.
Good one. Yeah.
Secondly, it's also, I would say, I make a loop there with Apify. So you have like many, so Apify is like a scraping tool that you can like scrape like USPs for product development. And especially for SEO, it's quite important to get like a whole overview of your category. So use your product opportunity explorer and the Apify scraping competitor listings to implement those USP as angles inside of your listing. And you put all this data inside of Claude, and Claude will analyze it for you. And then you have like many, many opportunities to implement them into this listing. And nobody like the human will do that, looking about 3K of reviews. So I think that nothing you will give like one person to do. So, and you can do this also for international rollouts. So especially you have like different angles in different countries. So in France, I would not recommend to write made in Germany. There are many other angles you could put there. And this you can definitely leverage with AI. And with Apify, you have so many vectors in this kind of case.
Cool. And you mentioned the product opportunity explorer. Where can people find that? Is that in Seller Central?
Yeah, exactly. In Seller Central, you can just search at the top corner, Product Opportunity Explorer, and then you have to, on the bottom right corner, choose your correct land. So it's default USA. Then you put like Germany, Netherlands, like the marketplace of your choice. And then you can search for A10. You can search for a specific keyword, and you have to give the exact Amazon data there. And also you have like an overview of reasons why people send in this category the product back, and especially for new launching products, especially for example the supplement category is very, very powerful at the moment. We're seeing a pattern there. It will definitely work out and helps you in your decision finding, and way more efficient. You can do the work for like 4 people with one A player at this period of time with agents there, and Claude will make the rest for you.
Cool. So you have a third golden nugget?
Yeah, especially I would recommend, because many sellers that we see are focusing on, hey, I have to track my KPIs. So they have like 20 KPIs there. They want to improve, oh, my CTR conversion rate, especially. It's like kind of a shiny object, because what will tell you if their click through rate improves by 15%? What will you do with this information? And more metrics doesn't mean more clarity. It usually means slower decisions in my kind of way. And most marketplaces teams drone down in dashboards, and the best operator tracks fewer KPIs, but track them deeply. So clarity comes from focus, not coverage there. And we would say cash flow, so marginal costs, your takers, and your profit per product in the especially marketplace, and put all this data together, that you have like in the morning, you grab your coffee, look at the dashboard, and you have to see, hey, there's like one signal off. Then I can do like the next action step, or tell me my agency there. But if you have like 30 KPIs there, which we have seen, it's not that way to give like good decisions there. So stop measuring everything, focusing on the big nuggets there.
Yeah. So also less is more. And I fully agree. I mean, you can always gather more data, but the challenge is in harnessing the data.
Yes.
Okay. Summarizing, the last one is look at the right KPIs. Don't just gather data. Then the second one was about, help me out. The second one was that about the cloud, putting everything in one place?
Exactly. So the scraping of the competitor review,
Yeah. Reviews.
and then using Claude Code to leverage them with good context engineering and human in the loop.
Yeah, and the first one is making sure your data is clean, because with
Yes,
AI it's garbage in, garbage out.
correctly.
Great. I think there's some practical insights in here. So before we round up, just a few rapid fire questions.
Yeah, sure.
You don't know what's coming, so I'm curious. What's your essential tool? If you can only use one tool, what would it be for
Claude Code.
marketplaces? Cloud Code.
Yeah.
If you've mastered Amazon, what would be your next marketplace recommendation?
It depends on the category. I would say Otto and Shop Apotheke at this point.
Okay, interesting. We're looking to add Shop Apotheke at Channable as well,
Mhm.
but it's quite challenging because it's an apothecary and there's regulations involved.
Yeah. health claims and stuff like that.
Yeah. What's your favorite country to sell in if it's not Germany?
For sure, USA. If you have the money to invest in like those big markets, but it's very money intensive. And I would say, secondly, France and then Spain, especially for sport products and stuff like that. That's are the most big marketplaces after Amazon. Germany.
Interesting. And then, out of interest, what would be an interesting topic for you if we ever do a future episode with a guest or a topic? What would you like to hear about?
So basically, if you want like a more technical AI feature, I would recommend Lucas Langen as AI engineer, who can maybe getting a little bit deeper as I could as I could do. So this would be maybe an opportunity. Yeah, thanks for being there, and thanks for the invitation. Looking forward maybe for our next episode.